Welcome to the Boston's Big Four podcast. Cast. New news about music and sports every week, sometimes.
All right, we're back. New episode, Boston's Big Podcast. We got a special guest with us. Owen and I do this show. We do a radio show called The Weekend Vibe Check on New England Mic Check. And we were just talking recently. We were saying we were talking about the best hip-hop cities in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. And my top three was Boston, of course, and then I had Brockton and Lynn right after that.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I like that.
Like currently, I'm talking currently, like they got the most going on. That's what I think. And when I think of Lynn, you're definitely one of the first names that comes up.
This is
so,
true.
Yeah, absolutely. And your new album, Where I'm From, is out now.
Facts. Well,
and you've been doing your thing for a long time. You're someone that I think most people, when they think of Lynn, when they think of Lynn hip hop, they think of you.
I like that. I like that said though, because I worked for that. Like, I remember like when I first started rapping, like, because I knew where it was taken. Like, it wasn't taken to like this. I come from like the Lil Wayne era. Lil Wayne was taking rap to like this level, and then like I seen that from him. So when I'm seeing rap in my area, let alone Boston, I'm like, it's not taken to this level that it should be. Like,
right.
So I seen the potential in it. I actually remember the day I was going to make it known that I was taking rap serious. I was a freshman in high school. I went to Lynn Tech, which is a vocational school for high school. And I remember being in, after school, we used to hang out in this graphic design class. I didn't do graphic design. I actually went there for electrical. But we're hanging out, and I remember meeting this other rapper, and I'm like, yo. And it was me and another rapper. I think he had just battled somebody like right before me. It wasn't like nothing serious. I think they was just like, who's better at rapping? And they did a little quick battle, you know, when you're young and all that. And I just remember like a bystander that was there. He was just like, why any of y'all want to make it rapping? No one from Boston, let alone Lynn's, gonna make it rapping. And that's just been my fuel ever since. It's like, not only am I gonna rock this Lynn thing, but I'm gonna make sure I'm doing it at a high level.
I love that, because that was the mentality for a while, around not just around Lynn, but around Boston.
Right.
Like that was, you know, there was kind of like this stigma. Like if you went to show someone a rapper and you said this guy's from Boston or he's from Massachusetts, they would automatically like have this opinion of them.
Yeah, make a joke about it or not take it serious.
Right,
like,
exactly.
So I could have met. So especially coming from Lynn, when I'm telling people I rap, at first it was like, oh, you rap. Then I start rapping, and then it's like, oh yeah, you really rap.
Yeah. So when was this? When did you start rapping? Really?
So I was rapping since like the age of 9, but coming from Lynn, there was never no access to studios. So like I remember 2002, Nas had dropped Made You Look. And 50 Cent had came out with Get Rich or Die Trying. I could say those were the two things.
That was a good time in hip-hop.
Marvelous. Yeah. I remember like those two things coming out, and I'm like, I want parts of this. So aside from that though, my mom and my dad, so being on car rides with them and they're singing along the songs. As a kid, you know, your brain wanders. You're like, oh, where do I fit in? What do I like? What do I want to do? What do I want to be when I grow up? I automatically knew I wanted to be something involved with music.
Yeah.
Whether it was a singer, rapper, I didn't know what. I just wanted parts of music. It didn't seem realistic though, especially coming from Lynn. But my parents had these like, they were strict parents. They were like, yo, you're gonna be straightforward. You're doing this, that, and the third. So having a rapper imagination wasn't realistic to me at the time. But I'm watching them on these long car rides, and they're singing along to songs word for word. And I remember just sitting in the back seat like, I want parts of that. Like, how did they know that the person listening to this song, or do they know that the person listening to this song is singing along with them? And how does that work? How do
you get people to sing along to your song?
Yes, exactly. So this is the thought process at like 8, 9 years old. I'm thinking like, yo, how can I get involved in this? Like, I need to find a way. So at the time I went to this after school program called Greg House. And it's not like they had a studio there, but it just happened to be that there was a staff there that rapped that was working at the school program, and they had them set up a project for making a song with a bunch of artists, and a bunch of students that went to the school program, and it was just something about when I was rapping, they knew that that was what I wanted to do. They was like, oh, you want to do this? This is I was like, oh, you don't take this as a joke. Like you want to do this for real. And time went on. I'm probably one of the only people from that circle doing it seriously still to this day. And so I run into a lot of those staff today, and they're like, "Yo, you're really rapping."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I already knew what I wanted to do." So it's dope.
What year was this when you first started?
So when I first started, it was like as a kid, 2002, but like started like on my own. Okay, no after school program. I found a studio.
Yeah.
Was in 2009, 2008, 2009. Freshman in high school, there was a staff by substitute teacher there by the name of John Ray. I thank that guy still to this day for introducing me to not only his independent label Cake and Boys at the time and my first studio that I was able to record at.
Word. So 2009, that was obviously like an exciting time for hip hop. I feel like there was a lot going on.
And young kids rapping from my city wasn't really a thing like that. I was probably at the time the youngest guy rapping. Like I'm like, who's it? So everyone's looking like, who's this 14-year-old rapping?
Right.
But then
did you know of like ST Knack at that time?
At that time, I probably caught wind of what he was doing. I wasn't too like, I was like, so like this is when like recording is like first starting getting popular and people are uploading videos on MySpace MySpace and YouTube at the time. Yeah. So I would see a video of like I believe him and another rapper like rapping on the corner. And this is before like people was taking Lynn rap serious. So I seen where it was like in my eyes it was like rap was only on this one video on MySpace I seen. I'm like, okay, this is where it's at.
The world seemed so much smaller back then.
Yeah, I mean, of course I knew that there was these moments of like little mixed hard copies being made here and there, me coming across them growing up from other groups called like Block Movers growing up. If you're from Lynn, you're aware of what that is. But like other than that, like I seen this one video and I'm like, okay, rap is clearly a sacrifice. You see where it was taken. If you're going to jump in this, it's already taken here. If you jump in this, you have to take it here because you're probably going to lose a lot trying. I already went into it knowing that it was going to come with losses. So I'm like, all right, if you're going to get into this, you can't do where it's already at. You have to take it here. And still to this day, I remind myself, like, that was your plan. Like 2008, 2009, like you told yourself, if you was going to jump into this, don't take it here, take it here. And I still remind myself of that till to this day. And
what were the ways that you decided that you were going to take it to the next level? So like what did you see you guys doing and you're like, I need to do more than that?
So I really didn't even look. It was bigger than local in my head. Like I was already looking at myself as like a star. So I'm like, okay, what do you expect out of your favorite rappers that you listen to today? Or what are they showing you? When you go to click on YouTube, like what do you look up to see your favorite rappers doing? Or what is in your face that your favorite rappers are doing that now I'm bringing it to locally. Okay, what are your favorite rappers doing that's not happening locally? And I could use my past year, for example.
Yeah.
I put my own shows together, let alone my first headline show at Middle East, but like I was putting little like semi showcases together, like displaying my city's talent. So I was doing things like that while one of my biggest this year was like I got my own billboard. Like that was another thing, like that's especially huge. Coming from Lynn that people weren't seeing. So it was like, of course we've seen some of my peers from the Boston scene do it, but like coming from Lynn, that's and
the billboard was in Lynn, right?
Yeah, and it was in Lynn. Like that's something I'll take to the grave. Like I'll be happy with that move because that's something I'll be there forever. Like people are gonna remember that. People drove by it, took pictures, but like stuff like that. Like you see this happen. This is how your favorite rappers are promoting their albums. Okay, bring that down to this world. Like show them that you don't have to wait till there to do this. And that's what a lot of my moves been based on. I was like, okay, yeah, I aspire to be here, but I can make a lot of these moves. And then I thrive off leverage. Okay, let's say I have to walk in these rooms. I'm like, well, I know how to do this. And then my biggest thing is like merch, like. Oh, I love merch.
You're big on merch.
What? Like that's important.
Live famous.
Yeah.
So the billboard in Lynn, it was promoting your merch basically.
Yeah. So I wanted to be. I didn't want it to be just about the music, and the brand itself isn't just about the music. It's about, especially where I come from. First off, but like. Live famous, like make sure you're getting your flowers while you're here. Don't like that's like basically what my brand promotes. So it's like, all right, don't just attack the music, attack the whole brand. And then I had my website. Like my website was like I just like officially launched it this year. So it was like, what's the smart move for you? well, you got a website. Your website has your music, your merch, your vlog. Everything's there. So, okay, don't just promote the music. I wanted to promote the album. I'm like, I want to do this billboard for the Where I'm From album, but it's like, people can go to your website for the album.
Right.
So, like, all right. So I made that sacrifice. Like, yo, just promote the brand. And it's like, then I put my best friend on the billboard with me. 'Cause it was like, I had 100 people in Live Famous when I built this. Now it was just me and him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, all right, let me show my homie that been right. Like, show that you can do this and still showcase who's been there since day one while doing it. That's another thing that people are afraid to do, is like showcase your homies too. Like, a lot of people was asking me like, why you put him on there with you? Why didn't you do I was like, nah, like, this brand is important to me, and then whoever stuck around while I built this brand, you're gonna reap the benefits too.
Mm-hmm.
Same for Lynn. It was like a lot of people from Lynn that like, okay, if you've been here since, you're gonna feel like you've been a part of this or you don't even gotta be from Lynn. Like, if you've been watching the C Wells brand grow, you're gonna feel like you won too. And that's all how I always wanted my audience or supporters, whatever you want to call it, to feel, is that like, my wins are your wins.
That's super smart marketing wise, like, because I feel like a lot of people, everyone wants to belong to something,
right?
So you get people to belong. I mean, in a way, like, reward the people that have stuck around and have helped you. So
right, because like, I'm a big I told you so person. Like, I'm huge on that. It's like
I was listening to your album earlier, and you said something about that.
That was my first, because I'm finally in a space where I can say that. Like, I've always thought it, but it was like, oh, you don't even really know how to word it in a clever way, or you're really not in that space to say this. Like, this album was like, I can say this now. It was like, oh, like, especially after the billboard, even before the billboard, like how me and B was talking about the MFA moves earlier, like stuff like that. Like, Magna Carta is one of my favorite albums. Like, Hov was talking about art on that album. I appreciated that album for that.
That was a good album.
So for like stuff like having a Lynn kid involved in the MFA, bringing Bosky on the hip hop exhibit, that was huge for me. Like, I'm like, yo, this is exceeding my expectations at this point. It was like, but I also want to be able to bring that back home. It's like, yo, this is our win. It's not just me. This is you guys believed in this, and so did I, and look what I'm doing with it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Basically building a community, and that's kind of like what the whole thing's about, and everyone wants to just be a part of that.
Facts.
That is awesome, and to ascend to levels that you already feel like are where you'd like to be, like, it just kind of shows like now you have that power and the credentials. Once you build the resume too, that's a huge thing, because now you have things to, like you said, the I told you so part, like showing people this is happening. I've been doing this. This will piggyback me into the next thing or whatever. It always, everything snowballs. So that's something that I think a lot of the outsiders don't see, like the little work that goes in that builds up. Like, someone might be like, oh, well, that person's like the rapper, like we were talking about that before, like and you feel that maybe there's just that, maybe it's not so secret, but there's like maybe not like that belief, but then they don't see that every day it's getting better, and they don't realize that there is growth to it. And
that was part of the method too. It was like, I want you to feel like we're growing together. Like, I don't want you to miss a step. Like, any move I make, you can be like, yo, I remember just, he was here. And he's doing this now. So a lot of people that's been keeping up with what I've been doing, it's like you're growing with me. Like, you're not there. It doesn't look like I like cheated any steps or cut any corners. If I take a loss, you're gonna get to watch me take a loss. If I take a W, get to catch my W. You're gonna watch me catch my W, and you catch it with me. So
speaking of the team, when you first got into recording and making music yourself. Mm-hmm. Did you have someone that was like the producer you worked with, or was it just wherever you could?
So when I first started rapping, I was ripping beats off the internet. At the time, there was SoundClick, I believe.
That's how everyone starts, I feel like.
Yeah, but I caught on fast. I caught on very fast. Before I was even uploading my music onto DSPs, I caught on very fast. Like, I don't think it didn't take me long. I think year 2 or 3, I was on getting my own beats. Like, I had to go find a producer. Year 1, I was already sick of ripping beats. I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm done with doing freestyle. Well, I wasn't done with doing like remixes / freestyles, but like, I'm sick of fishing for these type of beats and ripping beats off the internet. I want to find a producer from my city, like how I'm a rapper.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was uncommon, like finding a producer in Lynn, Massachusetts, and like.
So who are the top producers in Lynn, Massachusetts?
So I ended up finding my sound through this kid named Dre. Dre, you a hit maker. I'll give you the snowball effect, like you said. So I ended up finding my sound through Dre. I go on Facebook and say, yo, who makes beats? This kid ends up hitting me up. We makes one record, which ends up being The Light, which is one of my like earlier records, which then ends up fast forward leading to For the Paper with G Herbo. So now after that, I want to say somewhere anywhere after the G Herbo record, now there's producers from my city. Now I'm catching wind of different producers. Fast forward to where I'm from, T the Truth. I let T the Truth
So it's all the time now.
Yeah, that was the first name that came to my head.
Yeah, so T the Truth. Oh, I love talking about T because now here's what happened. How I met him around this time last year. I already knew he was a friend of my brother's though. My little brother Tyler. Like I already knew they was friends, but I didn't know he produced. I'm sitting in the studio. He's not speaking at all, but I'm cool with a couple of his homies. I go home. He ends up messaging me like, "Yo, we was in the studio together. I want to work with you." Woo, woo. He sends me beats. I'm blown away. I think the first beat I listened to was Since You Been There.
Okay.
He sent me that beat. I'm like, yo, you got it. Let me hear some more. I'm like, matter of fact, I'll be at the studio tomorrow. I'll see you there. So I go to the studio. We end up chopping it up. We get to know each other. We're kicking it for months. I end up finding out me and him had the same birthday.
Twins.
That was crazy.
This is the Parent Trap.
Yo. So when I found out me and him had the same birthday, I'm like, yo, we gotta work out something. I don't care if me and you gotta do a project because T raps too. So I'm sure you guys know that. Like T raps too. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, we could either do that or you could just produce this whole album. And then we ended, of course, like he was like, we could do both. We ain't get to do the project with me and him yet. Well, we got so many records we probably could put on one, but yeah, we ended up doing this whole album together. The Mellows actually co-produced a few, like 3 or 4 of the records there. But
the Mellows are from Lynn also.
Yeah, the Mellows too. We brought up SD Knack earlier. I'll actually like try to. I'm at a space now where it's like I'm trying to keep it Lynn. Like I need everything to be Lynn. Like I'm wearing it to the like.
Although I heard recently someone said you talk about Lynn too much.
Oh yeah, like, and that's my thing. Like that was my biggest part about this project. It was like, I don't feel like I spoke on it the way I did on this project. I feel like I didn't speak on it enough on this project. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The thing is, like, there are only maybe 1 or 2 songs that are really about Lynn.
Correct.
There's a lot more stuff to it than that.
Yeah, so. It's much more than that for sure.
I just thought that was funny.
I think I used the where I'm from to symbolize like my heart and soul, like to more or less to like it's definitely I have my representing Lynn in a lot of the I have my 2 the sin where I give you the dark side of Lynn and where I'm from is my traditional telling my story about telling Lynn's story. But other than that, it was like I was putting everything on the table.
Right.
I didn't like that was my first time I was able to be vulnerable on a project. Like I think I hold a lot back when I put out music.
Yeah.
And this was the first time I was like not, and I think that helped me as a person. Like outside of music, like I'm usually like I'm very like to myself. When I feel like on this project, I laid everything out. So it's like now it's like I know how to talk about everything clear as day now. So it's like before it was like I might be, but I noticed after this album, I'm more social. I know how to keep talking. I know how to keep conversation.
I'm glad you said that because one of my questions was it feels like on this album you had a lot to say.
Yeah. Because
there's not a lot of hooks.
Right.
It's just bars.
Right.
It's just you talking and speaking your mind.
Yeah. So then there was the like. I listen to a lot of like Jay-Z and Nas as well. So it's like, all right, for my own soul, when you're going to make this project that like resembles that for you? And I think this project fulfilled a lot of needs just for myself alone, like internally, like, okay, you say you represent this, but are you displaying that? And that's what I really went for on this project. I'm surprised I didn't rap backwards on this album. Like, you know what I'm saying? I almost went for it, but it was like, I really didn't want to go stray away from the message. Like, I really wanted you to really, okay, where I'm from, it means internally and actually where he's from. And I think I nailed it on that.
Absolutely.
How much didn't like how much didn't make it into the album? Like,
I love that question. Me and T did about I want to say about 50 joints, and they were so good though. I didn't even like I think the making it was better than the putting it out because it was just fun. Like the concepts I was coming up with for these songs, like the way my thoughts were just flowing. He was making these beats in front of me. Or if I was in a room doing a feature, like, so that was what the routine normally was. I'll be in the other room doing a feature for somebody. Mid me doing the feature, I'll walk out of the room because I can hear what T's making in the other room. And I'll quickly be like, don't get that to nobody. That's mine. I'll be back. And I'll go back and do it. And I'll go do the verse. And then my mid doing the verse, I'll hear another beat in my head. I'm like, oh, if T just did that, and I hear this in my head, I'm going to go tell him to make this. And it was the engine was just going. I would go do something in another room.
So you were working together from 2 different rooms.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. You know, and he'll be thrown off because I'll literally be mid-song. He'll be making a beat that I had no idea he was doing. I'll walk out of the room and be like, yo, T, that's mine. And he might have another rapper right next to him that was thinking it was his. I'm like, nah, T, that's going on. That's on our album. That's mine.
Oh, how many people? Who have you done this to? Name.
All right, Cashy. I gotta throw him out.
Cashy. We love Cashy.
Yeah, I love Cashy because me and him then had some like very passionate arguments that like are very that turn out productive. Like, because he'd be like, it'll be start off with some simple like, yo, you avoiding doing a song with me, Wells? I'm like, yo, Cash, we just gotta let it happen. We be in the same room.
Speaking of Cashy, we were talking about the Celtics jerseys earlier.
Yeah. Oh, he don't like them jerseys.
No,
he told me.
I saw he posted today. He was like, whoever made these needs to be fired. Right?
Yeah, he don't like those jerseys. But now, like, Cashy's like, he hears every beat too, though. He's like me, though. Like, he'll hear every beat. He'll be like, oh, that's mine. And we never really argue. Cash can really tell when I want a beat. Like, he'll be like, oh, nah, I can see it in Wells' face. He want, and Cash will hold an argument. Cash will argue with you. Yeah. When he could see, but he could tell, he knows me. Like, he'll look at me and be like, nah, Wells really wants that beat. There was a few beats, I think, with me and T, because I actually record my music with T now. As of lately, like, T's like my personal engineer right now. Like, he calls me like, yo, just come to my house and record. All right, bet. So, like, me and T be kicking it, we be recording, whatever. We were going through beats, and he looked at me the other day. He's like, yo, you know Cash wanted that beat very bad, right? I'm like, I know, I needed it, though.
That's tough.
There can be similar beats.
Yeah.
It would actually be interesting. Would you guys ever share a beat? Like, you each put your own flavor on it?
Yeah, me and Cash actually got music. I'm like, yo, Cash, you did all this arguing with me about doing a song with you, and you don't got nothing now. He's like, I'm working on it. I bet you got that. But, like, nah, like.
If you both love the beat, it might be the perfect opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's actually how the song with me and him actually happened. I think we both wanted the beat. No, the second song we did, we actually both wanted the beat, and we just both ended up getting on it.
Word.
That's pretty funny, though, the studio drama of you just like, I'm taking this one. He's like, I thought this was my beat. I've been watching it get made.
Yeah. That happens a lot, though. You'd be surprised how much that happens in the studio. Yeah.
Wow. Man, that must be like, has this happened to you? You're just sitting there and someone pokes their head in like, I'm taking this.
Nah, it's not happening because once everybody sees I'm locked in on something, that's mine. And then nah, it's just like we all respect each other as artists, and most guys know that like, all right, if I'm about to do something with something, I'm taking it there.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean that's like 90% of music is just feeling it too. So like if you're feeling the beat, you're probably gonna make something better out of it anyways.
I think I just seen like Joe Rogan and then I think John Glasses posted it and Rick Rubin when he said it's all feeling like for sure.
I saw that.
Yo, me too.
I
What he just put out a book? Is that what he was talking about?
Probably. Was plugging.
I might have to go buy it. I think he was like talking about a book or something.
But speaking of Cashy and T the Truth, so KMF Lynn is obviously
those are the homies. Like I spent like all of like this time last year like in the studio with them. Like I have records with every single one of them. Like I think I approached J Moon like, yo, which one of your artists need verses? Matter of fact,
I love all those dudes
because I got better while doing it. Like they like not only did I'm sure they probably got better working with me, they made me better as an artist because I always wanted to get better at like going in the studio and not writing. Yeah. Most of those, I think about 80% of those verses I did for them, I didn't write them. So they was actually making me better as artists, as an artist as well, and I enjoyed that. That's why I stick around KMF because we learn from each other a lot.
And they put on a festival in Lynn recently, right?
We just did that festival together. That was actually a dope moment for the city, because now when we're talking about what we was talking about earlier in my beginning stages of rapping, and someone's like, why you want to be a rapper from Lynn? Well, 10 plus years later, there's a festival in Lynn, Massachusetts. That's why.
Right. No, that was awesome to see that. And that's why, like, when Owen and I were talking about the strongest hip-hop communities in Massachusetts.
I think my first,
it's like,
especially because of recently, I said Lynn.
Lynn is so up there.
Yeah.
Like, if they're not, if they're not one, they're two. Like, it's
me.
I think Lynn's number one.
SD Knack.
It's crazy.
KMF, Johnny Nash, Sally Bucks.
Yeah.
The list
the only
is
competition I think is Brockton.
Yeah.
Outside of Boston.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
I
what
agree
I
with
think.
that.
That's what I think.
so.
I kind of catch that. I catch that happening.
Maybe
sometimes.
Lawrence.
And I think
too.
Van Buren's
Like,
the
I don't
biggest
know.
part of that.
Van Buren and Brockton.
I love
and
Van Buren.
But also C4. Like, there's in Mona Valley. Like, there's a lot
That's
of talent
true,
in
right.
Brockton.
Yeah.
And Lynn, too. It's
Yeah,
like
facts.
both of those cities, like, the amount of, I could make a list of, like,
Oh, there's a
so
word,
many
West
names.
Side World. I can go down the list. Nah, I love Lynn
Yeah.
hip hop right now. Like that is it's dope because
It
like
is.
it wasn't a thing like when I started. Like we used to get it was a joke. Like like people took it as a joke, and so like to see where it's at now and it's getting its respect, and I'm able to put out projects like where I'm from, and KMF is able to put together a festival like.
And SD Knacks all over West Side Guns.
SD Knacks all over West Side Guns album. Like, this is
Huge
it's
things
dope.
going
Like,
on,
because this
yeah.
is like, especially I could imagine for Knack too, because Knack's older than me, so like he's been fighting this fight a little longer than me. So to see this all playing out all around the same time, even when he was
what can
first
you
running
say
around
about-
with them, I was running around with Critch.
What
He
can you
was
say
running
about
around
SD Knack
with.
and like what he's done for the Lynn hip hop scene, because I feel like he's just like an icon in Lynn.
So for the most part, like he definitely holds down like the super rap god, like
Yeah.
for as far as that. And where I come in is like I come over the youth, like you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
So it's like I play both. Whereas like I love Knack.
And
Like
you've done-
every time I
you've-
get
you've
into
made
Knack.
music with Knack.
Oh, me and
Yeah.
Knack got an unreleased record. I think I was playing on the way here, and we actually got a record on his Mini Mansion dust tape. I forget which one, but I'm definitely on one
I've
of the
definitely
last
heard
ones.
some records of you and him.
Yeah, like I like getting in the studio with Nat because I definitely feel like he's another person that makes me better as an artist. Like,
Yeah.
I snap out of that traditional rapping and go back to what got me into doing this when I actually get in the studio with him. So it's like, and it's dope because I'm like, oh,
He definitely seems like the type of guy that pushes you, like.
and he don't even
just-
got to
just
do
because of
nothing.
his presence.
Yeah,
Just because of his
exactly. I was just about to say
presence.
he don't even got to do nothing. You're in the
Right,
you're in the
exactly.
studio with SD Next, so you're like, all right, I gotta come with it, and I catch myself doing some of my best rapping when I'm on a record with SD.
That's dope. And he's got the whole tragic. I mean, you got the whole
Tragic
tragic
Allies,
allies
yeah.
crew, and there was a few of them at the KMF Lynn
Yeah.
Fest, from what I saw.
Yeah.
So that
No.
I feel
Wait,
like
did Paranorm perform at that?
was Paranorm there?
He was there. I was actually
Okay.
talking to him because he had tapped me on the shoulder. I told him, I'm like, yo, I see you everywhere. We never get to chop it up. He was like, yo, I know, but now I'm supposed to lock in with Paranorm too. Like, I make that I make it an objective for me. Like, oh, that we gotta lock in. Or if we don't lock in, we gotta chop it up. Like, it's this because this Lynn thing's really a community for me, and I want more of those conversations. Yo, Lynn being in the conversation. Like, it took a while.
I feel like the artistry, like within the hip hop scene in Lynn, is on another level.
Yeah.
Like, just like your album cover here, and just
Oh, made by
Knack.
Janaya too. Like that was
Okay.
like Janaya is definitely like I love
shout
her
out
work.
Janaya.
Yeah, Janaya is definitely a dope artist from Lynn. Like Lynn's expanding outside of rapping. Like
Yeah, I just feel like their hip hop scene in Lynn is like intertwined with just like all the arts. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yeah, and
Like, it's not just
a dream
hip-hop.
to me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
important too because you can't just do everything. Like you gotta have an artist. You
Which
gotta have
brings me
people that do
to-
everything else.
Exactly.
The Lynn Hip Hop, what is it? The Lynn Hip Hop
Wall of-
Museum,
oh,
Hall of Fame,
Wall of Fame.
Wall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that all about? Because I've seen people posting about that, and I saw it. The album cover for this was on the wall there.
Mm-hmm. Also, the museum. Okay, the album comes in the museum. It's all
Okay.
a rollout for I believe. I don't want to be misquoting, but it's all a rollout for the Wall of Fame, which I'm proud of because Lynn needs some type of never mind outside of Lynn. I think inside Lynn needs to champion what's going on as far as the music scene, because I feel like that's what's keeping the culture of Lynn going at the moment. It was sports. I feel like the attention on that had started dying off, and more of the highlights and recognition is starting to come from the music. And I feel like a lot of what's keeping the city alive is coming from the music, and a lot of people feel like, oh, none of these guys have made it, they don't need a wall. Well, let's say we feel like after school programs are removed, which I do. These kids are going to the studio now. That was not happening before I started rapping. Rap was almost frowned upon, like I want to say.
I definitely
there has been a shift.
I can't even imagine like there being something provided by the school that would let you record or like learn even how to do it. It was such a mystery to me until honestly only a couple years ago, like how any of like recording anything even worked. Like I was confused by it. Got like a USB mic at first. It was like one of those things, and it's like I can't imagine the learning curve. Or you basically needed like a mentor. I feel like back in the day, someone who already knew it. And like these days,
almost like getting to the studio, you almost had to have someone walk you there, because like knowing about it just wasn't. It's like, okay, where am I gonna find out about this at?
Exactly. Yeah, and I definitely It's funny how you said, like you guys were talking earlier about the world being small, or it was smaller, especially in the music community, and
before social media.
Yeah, and like even like the days like earlier Facebook days, like when we were in high school, we knew like a couple of like we knew like a handful of Weymouth guys that rapped, and in our perspective,
we thought that was like the whole world to us.
We thought we had a friend, like the guys that rapped in Massachusetts. That's
we had a friend in high school, like 9th and 10th grade, who was a rapper, and he was from Weymouth, and he introduced us to all his rap friends from Weymouth, and that was our world, because we weren't exposed to everything else. It wasn't until about like 2012, 2013 until I started finding out about like everything else going around. It
was interesting. Yeah. So, but yeah, not being in those silos of thinking like you have to be friends with this guy that like knows how to do it. Otherwise, like you don't know how to get into it. You know, there's just like so many other ways. And like just a group of friends that are passionate about it can go to Guitar Center, buy the things they need, and just start doing it at home. Yeah, and then find a studio when they get better at it. You know?
That's facts.
It's kind of interesting how it has changed. And now, like you're saying, there's after school programs and stuff that like I can't imagine. Monavelli actually was in was it an after school program, or was it?
I don't know.
She said because oh my God, what's his name? Oh, dude, this is bad. He was at the State of Hip Hop. He was he was at the State of Hip Hop. He was a speaker. Latrell James. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Come on.
Tip of my tongue. I was like, I know his name. He would go in, and they would like make the kids like run their sets. And it was like they practiced them when they were like in high school. So it's like getting them ready to perform. So they graduated high school just ready to. They can perform anything, anywhere. You know. So it was just, I don't know, just things like that, drilling the skills.
Which is important too, because I learned a lot. Like I feel like I pride myself on being a good performer today, and I learned a lot of that from when I was doing the talent shows and after school programs early on, having stage fright and getting past that. And a lot of people don't have that early experience, so that those moments are important if you can,
because that stage fright takes a little while to overcome.
Does it? Yeah. Even just me rapping over instrumental in front of a couple hundred people was hard to do until I was forced to do it, because I didn't know about getting show sets made. So when I'm doing my first shows at Middle East and opening for Andre Nicotina, and there's 500 people in the crowd, and I'm rapping over an instrumental, nervous, but I did it because I had to, not because I knew how. Not over my vocals, over the instrumentals. So when B's holding that as a standard for shows, I'm like, I already know how to do this anyways. I had to do it when I had no other option.
You never rap over your vocals.
Nah,
it's funny.
I don't like doing that. I can't.
We know.
I never liked how that sound before I was even good at rapping. I hated like being a bystander, hearing someone rap over their vocals.
I agree.
You should chill with Bars Over Bars if you're familiar with Hero.
Oh, I just did it. I did a show. I actually just did a show with them right before.
You did, see?
Yeah, right before my album release party at Venue. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, he's big on real rappers don't rap over their vocals.
Yeah, nah, I love that, and it feels like it's like a challenge. It's while you're doing it, it's like a challenge. It's like, yo, am I gonna make it to this line? Am I gonna?
And then once you're done, you feel like you really did something.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like it don't matter how good you are. It's like, yo, if it's a challenge, and then when you complete it, it just feels, it feels like you accomplished something.
Right. Exactly. There's a lot of people rapping over their vocals these days. You know, we stay kind of neutral on the topic.
Yeah. It's funny. I think it's hilarious because people are very passionate about it. Like some people really care.
Like either way, some people are very passionate about rapping over their vocals. They say it's a good way to,
I be forgetting how hard it is though, like to rap on the instrumental because I'm just so used to it. So then at the end of my performance, when someone comes up to me like, "How'd you do that?" I'll be like, "Do what?"
Like, it's
like,
the way.
this is what I do.
Yeah, you rapped over the beat. Oh, that. I don't know. I've been doing this since I'm like 14.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm not I don't have that type of experience at all. But I like karaoke. And one time, there was this guy. We were doing a karaoke night. They put the song on with the lyrics.
Yeah.
Threw me off completely. I was like, I can't even keep track of what I'm saying because all I can hear is
the song in the
I feel like
back.
that would make it harder. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Because you're thinking about being like exactly how the song is, and you might live be doing something a little different. So I don't know. It's kind of weird, but it is what it is. It's definitely better when you can tune it in, like you got the instrumental and you're just doing.
Yeah, and then if you got crappy mics, how you sound rapping over your vocals with crappy mics, at least crappy mics, and I have no vocals in the back, you can semi hear me. My throat might hurt, but you're gonna be able to hear me.
That's true. And then they're cupping the mic too.
Yeah. Long as you got
how do you hold the mic? How do you?
You got to hold it by the body.
Okay.
It depends. Like
I've heard you're not supposed to hold it like.
You're probably not. I catch myself like.
Yeah. Because
I don't know.
It basically gives. It's like way higher chance, from what I understand, of there being feedback. So
I watch too much Biggie Smalls performing videos, and
that's
he
what I'm
holds
saying.
up.
That's what I've seen. I've seen so many of my favorite rappers like doing it with their hand on the fucking microphone. I'm like, all right.
And the sound guy's just like, oh Jesus.
I probably watch more Biggie Smalls performances than anything. So the way I'm holding the mic, I probably seen it.
Is that your all-time favorite rapper, Biggie Smalls?
Yeah, I probably my soul probably. Yeah, the biasness in me is either gonna say like.
Can we do a top 5?
Yeah, we can.
All right. What's your top 5?
No order. I'm going. Matter of fact, I'll group one, so I won't say Hove or Biggie in the same. One will cover the other, so I'll do Hove.
Okay.
Drake saved me in high school. He has to be in that 5.
I love it.
Wayne, I probably don't listen to him currently, but he played a huge.
We got a big poster of Wayne on the
yeah,
wall.
you can't not say him.
No, you can't. Especially if you're from that era. It's his impact was undeniable.
Huge influence. Like probably my first songs were remixes, and I credit him for that. So I can't not say him. I won't even say top 5. Like I'll use my top 5 influencers who influenced me. Hove, Drake, Wayne, 50 Cent. Just how he just handled rap beef, which is immaculate. Like that was so ill to me growing up. Like how you just
the pettiest rapper.
How you just ended his rap career like that.
So
like how
incredible.
Who do I got? I said Wayne, 50, Drake.
I think Wayne and 50 are similar in the way that they both had like a run of like 3 or 4 years that was just fucking undeniable.
You just then that dominated a lot of me growing up. It was like Wayne. Once right after 50, just here comes Wayne.
Yep.
5.
I think I know who you're gonna say. Actually,
5. I might give it to a young guy. I might give it to a young guy.
Because never mind. It was someone you mentioned earlier that I thought you were gonna say Nas.
I was gonna, but I kind of I won't throw him in there. I won't throw him in there.
It's funny.
Matter of fact, I will because even the young guy that I would throw in there would kind of be like putting him. So
who's the young guy?
Joey
Badass.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So I guess we could put Nas there. We'll put Nas there.
What did you think about Joey Badass's latest album?
I love the album. I
So
actually
good.
Zip Codes is actually on repeat. I listen to Zip Codes. I gotta start my morning with Zip Codes.
Okay.
I love the role he's playing in Kanan right now. Kanan's my favorite show right now. I'll watch that.
Yeah, he's an actor too. Joey Badass is incredible. I remember when he dropped 1999 when he was like 17, and I was like, this shit is fucking unbelievable.
That was like another thing. Like, and then I'm a huge big J. Cole fan too. Like J. Cole's me. I fuck with Cole.
Yeah, of
like,
course. If you don't love J. Cole, like, I don't know. I got some questions.
That's why I hate making fives, because fives is hard. Like,
It's too hard.
is, yeah.
That's why I asked if you wanted to do it before.
I'll do it, because like I'm
We
not
had
wrong
Shay.
either way, because it is what
Yeah.
it is. But yeah,
Obviously, there's a bunch of honorable mentions. that could've been
exactly,
in
or
there,
people
you know?
that could have been in the
yeah.
five. Or,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
We had Shay come on, and he, like weeks later, he did a show with us, and collabed with Bars Over Bars. Shout out Bars Over Bars. He was like, I gotta change my top 5, and then we did like a recording at the show
Because they change.
Yeah.
No, that's totally normal. They change. That's why I'm like, do I want to say it today? Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it was an interview with Jadakiss a few years ago, and he was like, "If you're a real fan of hip hop, he's like, you don't have like a solidified top 5."
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
thought it was just me. I'm like, damn, do you
Yeah.
listen to enough
It's
rap?
like, if you are a real fan of hip hop and you study the game, you don't have a real solidified
yeah.
top 5 that stays the same
Yeah,
forever. It's,
no.
it's changing all the time.
Yeah,
My-
I think people forget humans are complex.
Tomorrow morning, my
In
5 might
music,
change.
How many rappers have there been? Like, there's no 5 that's the best. Like, there's no. There's no greatest of all time. There really isn't.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
there's
just-
a few people who can be in that
It's all
conversation.
opinionated.
But it's
And
similar
then,
to,
well,
like-
depending on what you want to equate into it. If the numbers matter to you, then
Right.
you throw that in
Right.
there.
I
If
think
the
it's a
actual
combination of numbers,
Right.
but then like there's a lot of other factors involved too.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, it's there's no solidified official top 5. Everybody's got their opinions. I
Yeah,
love
I mean, it's
I love
similar to
talking about it
asking-
though. It's a fun debate
I
topic.
can tell you what I listen to or what I will listen to. My
Yeah.
5 staying consistent. I don't know.
No, it's not.
Probably
It
not.
can't.
I listen to too much music for that.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just like picking your favorite anything. Like then you.
I might wake up on I'm all 5 spots. Wells.
Yeah. We all feel different.
So what's next for you? You've dropped the album. Your new video is out right now, the animated video.
Oh yeah,
which is fire.
that's something that like I always wanted to do, because like I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan. Do Tupac, Do You Love? That's Do for Love. That's one of my
Yes,
favorite. That's
I
one of my
love that
favorite
one.
music
I love
videos.
that one.
Kanye, he got a bunch of them. Like you can like, but like
Good
yeah,
morning.
yeah. So like the animated music video thing is like something I seen myself doing. Like once again, like if I was of that stature already, but it's like, all right, why chase it when you can just bring it to you?
Make it happen.
So like, yeah, that was one of those things that like one of my proud moments was like, yo, you really went and made an animated video, like, and that was dope. Like,
Did you make it or did
no,
you
I
find-
didn't, but like I was like scrolling through Instagram one day around this time, and I'm like, oh, someone is promoting an animated music video. Like, it's probably someone from the U.S. somewhere. I don't really remember. And I'm like, okay, let's see if he tagged who, because most people aren't smart enough to do that clearly these days, because everyone's still
Yeah.
messaging me, asking me who did the video, and I tagged him in it. But so I see the ad, and the guy's tagged in the video. So I'm like, all right, let me reach out and see what's going on. And I reached out. One thing led to another. I told him what I was trying to do. And I'm such a perfectionist. I'm like, you know what I'll do? I'm going to drive around Lynn. I'm going to make sure I get pictures of everything. I'm going to make sure I Google what I need to Google for you. I'll give you descriptions, because I need this to the T. Like,
So what was that process like, driving around?
It was tough. It was fun, but it was difficult, because it's like you want to get the right spots.
Yeah.
Then you got to remember, you got to match your lyrics too. You're like,
Right.
did I talk about this in here? Okay, and then I don't want to show the same thing I showed in the last Where I'm From video. I was like, okay, how can I show a different aspect of Lynn here? Like, so that was a lot that I was battling with myself about when it came down to putting it together. But I'm just like, yo, stop stressing yourself out and tell Lynn. Like that's all you need to worry about. As long as you have, if someone can feel like they see something in a cartoon version of what they could see if they come to Lynn, mission accomplished. And that's what I went for. And okay, what's important to you? What do you think of, or what do you see when you come to Lynn? I made sure I went to those things, took pictures of them, sent it over. I don't believe everything made it into the video, but which is fine. It was like not everything's gonna make it in it, and we executed it. But I feel like he did great.
I thought it looked incredible.
Another moment for me where I'm like,
I mean, it followed the whole, the video.
Followed as long as you went with what I was talking about, that's all that mattered to me. And
the
kind of,
song, I mean,
and then he found ways to even go beyond what I was talking about. Where I'm like, oh, I did also mean this too.
That's awesome. No, that's cool.
So he did that throughout the video, which was dope. I was like, oh, okay, I can tell you actually listened to this record. You didn't just put this video together. You cared about the song as much as I did, and he did. Like the process of both of us going back and forth putting the video together, it was a fun process. I did it around like this time last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like I had it for about a year now.
Okay,
Nice.
cool. So you're obviously a big supporter of Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best food spot in Lynn?
Ooh,
That's a very good question.
you want to help me with this one, Nate? Best food spot in Lynn.
Like, what are you getting? What's your favorite thing to get?
I might have to go with Nate's spot and say April's.
Okay,
That's not a bad decision, right? We're gonna go with April's.
April.
Yeah, April's a spot. If when I wake up in the morning and there's no breakfast cooked or I'm not cooking breakfast, and my brain goes, "Where do you want to eat?" You know what? I lied, Nate. I'm not gonna say I lied. That's for during the day. You know where we be at nighttime though.
Say, there's different
Green tea. Green tea. Yeah, I
just
forgot.
like poke bowls and
Yeah,
stuff.
so April's and green tea. What happened?
Is it?
Why? What'd you say? What's your answer to that? Chinese food.
Oh, I got you.
So I go there I get my peppery fried tenders that he hit me to. I go there and get it every time. It probably failed me only once, but that's that's a
It
disclaimer.
happens,
Okay.
yeah.
But other than that,
It probably failed me only once.
No, I actually was about to ask you like what's like the good food and what's the comfort food, because those are not always the same thing, you know.
yeah. So like, comfort food always can be good food too, because the good food is where you try to find the comfort at.
That's
Right.
true.
Because green
yeah,
tea
yeah.
will settle for me. I'll go, all right, today I want my peppery fried tenders. April's, I don't know what I'm gonna get. I might change my mind. I might want the steak tips with the mashed potatoes. I might go simple and want a grilled cheese that I possibly could have made at home.
Yeah. Sometimes it hits different though. I don't know what they put in those pans.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Correct.
it's true.
Correct.
It's
So
like I could not have made this if I
Yeah.
tried, you know?
and then there's a few taco spots in Lynn, I can't lie. So it's like it's hard.
Okay.
It's like
Word.
Lynn has this. It depends what you're in the mood for.
I feel like there's definitely some good food in Lynn.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
probably got a bit of everything. I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a diverse community.
I forget where I was. I tried some Indian food the other day. That was kind of crazy. They don't got that in Lynn, but I tried it.
Okay.
Oh, really? What did you get?
I don't even. Oh, I had tried some curry. It's regular, but some like
Okay.
chicken curry, but it was
okay.
some Indian curry. So like, it was definitely
They
different.
definitely got those spices. Yeah.
I told myself I got to get in the habit of trying something different because I'll be
I like
sticking
that. I like that.
I'm sticking to eating the chicken nuggets and fries. Is it gets a little
Yeah, you
tiring.
got to switch it up. I feel that.
Yeah, I have tried Indian food a handful of times, and
Oh, for real?
it can be tough. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it is.
tastes good, but it's tough. Like,
But me,
once
I
it's
gotta
inside
Google
you.
it. So if I see it on the menu, I'm Googling it before I order it. All right, am I gonna like this? All right, if I thinks it looks good, all right, we're gonna go with this right here. I see it on Google. It looks good.
If the ratings are good, you know,
That
Yeah.
too. That too.
that's what I look for.
I've
If
also
it's-
learned there's like kind of like ways to do it. There's like you eat the main course and it's got like all the spices and like your meats or whatever with like in a curry, and then after you have like a yogurt thing and it like conserves
Right.
it down so it doesn't like hurt you as bad. So I was like, I'm not a spicy guy, so I definitely get harmed by the spices.
Oh, see,
So-
I like not too spicy.
I like spicy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a spicy
Like I'll
guy.
eat some flaming hot Cheetos in a quickness, but then it'll do some damage. It'll do some damage to me, but I'll eat it though.
Oh yeah. That'll do some damage, definitely.
Yeah.
That'll fuck you up.
Oh man.
So what's next for you? What's the musically? What's the plan?
To be honest, like I plan on pushing this Where I'm From album longer than I've pushed anything, because I was like, this is really like.
I think that's
like,
the move. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, like, cause I feel like this definitely tells who I am, not only as an artist but as a person. Like I didn't hide anything on this album. Like I was actually vulnerable. Like
that was the thing that really stuck out to me about this album, is that you just really spoke your mind on every track.
Yeah, like you can really tell the purity in my thoughts on this, and that's all I wanted.
Absolutely.
Like I wanted to
there was no like filler, like
right.
You know, like some artists they throw a little filler in, like, and you're like, what does that really mean? How does that really apply to his life? You know what I mean? But with this, it's like every line you felt like it applied to your life.
Right. Like even just like lines that stick with me is like that define the album for me. Is like, I could play this at my mama house. When I'm gone, she gonna play this while she clean around. This the flow that my daddy.
I love that bar.
This the flow that my daddy tell the family about to make it out.
I heard that while I was cleaning earlier.
Yeah, like I wanted this project to be that. Like everybody could listen to it, especially my mother. Like you can. Like,
I love that.
I felt like my music. Like for her, she would be like, "I love your music, but it has a lot of profanity." Well, all right, this album I barely swore. Like I don't probably.
So you did you make that a focus to not swear?
I did that by accident. I think I was going through records with E-Double, and I think or Brandon. I forget somebody, and we was going through them, and like you barely swore in these records. I'm like, oh, I
even
did
the 50 that didn't make it.
I probably did. I probably
cut out all the ones that had a lot of swear.
Be a profane
but
one
like
out.
I actually don't, like, as of lately. I don't do it on purpose. Like I don't swear because I go to make radio edits. So when I'm going to make radio edits and I record at Phoenix like solely. So when Josh is making my edits, he's like, "Wells, what are we doing here? You didn't even swear in the song." I didn't know that. I'm just rapping. But like
that's
so
cool.
when I find out after that I didn't swear in the song, that'd be pretty dope to me, because like I didn't try. I was just rapping, and that's how it came out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you know Flawless Real Talk? He's from
Rhode Island. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had him on the podcast a couple years ago, and he doesn't swear on any of his songs. And I asked him how that started, and he was like, "I literally just made an album one time, and I realized after I made the album there was only 2 swears on it."
Yeah, I probably might.
I just took them out.
I don't like. It's because like I feel like it's lazy.
Right.
I'm a huge words person. I could swear without swearing. I may use words that may,
because people swear to like make an impact.
Right.
But
whereas
you can do that without swearing.
I may do some whole extra shit to swear in a song, and then you might have to think about all he said was "fuck me" in this line, and he just said all this extra shit without saying that. But that's the art of it. Jay-Z does it. Like, he'll never physically say it, but you may have put like 3 lines together and you're like, "Oh, he just made me feel like shit."
Right,
but it's the cleverness of it. Like, I never want to get lazy with my raps. Like, if it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, something's down to a swear, I'll break words down and you put that together in your head yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Also the marketability of it too, because like we mentioned before, we do that New England Mic Check radio show as well, and there's no swearing on that.
Right.
And all the music that they play, they do radio edits of, and most artists don't have a radio edit version of their song.
Right.
And it's funny,
There's certain artists that they can't like play at all because it's too hard
every
to
other
edit
word.
their songs.
Yeah, and with the funny part with me is too, like I won't swear in no lyrics of the song. But when you go to make the radio edit, I might have said one in the intro. And it's like, well, why'd you have to say it in the intro?
Now you got the parental advisory sticker.
Exactly. Just because I wanted to say one word in the intro.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, even if you do swear, it is smart, I think, for all artists. I mean, this is probably just like good advice in general. Do a radio edit. There should always be.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I've gotten in the habit of it. Like, now I be having that, like, strange extra 20-30 minutes at the end of my studio session. It's like, what do we do now? It's like, you know what, just okay, that last joint, let's use that to make a radio edit. You're probably only gonna have to change one word anyways.
That's so smart. A lot of artists don't do that.
Would you prefer changing the word or just kind of like doing like a record skip or something?
I categorize all that as changing it, but like like removing it or putting whatever,
reversing it.
Because I forget what it it was. Snoop Dogg at the Super Bowl when they performed, he said like Buster. It was like Buster what instead of motherfucker or something like that. He like
Buster what?
I forget exactly how he phrased it, but I was like, oh, he said Buster instead. That is funny. But I mean, if it flows the same, I guess it doesn't matter.
I mean, performing, I'm good at not saying it too. Like if I have to perform and not swear, I'm good at like when I'm coming.
Does that happen often? Where you have to
I
perform
know. I'm trying to think of an instance when I've had to do it.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Like a corporate gig, if you ever.
I forget what it was. But like I remember thinking in my head, like, yo, you can't swear. You have this swear
That's
at this
tough.
line. It is tough.
That's
it is.
tough.
It is. So like you're fighting with it in your head. You're like you're practicing it before you get to it. When you're rapping, you're actually stressing yourself out along the way.
Yeah.
But it's much when you're doing it though, and you come up to the line. It's much easier than you tell yourself it's gonna be before you're going to do it. When you go to do it, the line comes out. I stop. I'm like, oh, you made it. Like, but before you did it, you're like, I know I'm gonna slip up and say it.
Right, yeah, because you'll just if you let yourself get into the flow state of just doing the song, you'll assume you'll forget.
There's this one artist, you know, Chemic.
Yeah.
So there's this artist Chemic that she was performing at a show, and she had a hype man, and they weren't allowed to swear. And I remember she posted this video on Instagram. And then her hype man, like, after one of the songs was like, motherfucker. And she was just like, we can't swear.
Oh,
like,
my God. Wait, I assume they might not have got paid, too. Like,
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but it was
I think
funny.
that can happen. They can dispute.
I was like, I would have done the
pay.
same thing. I probably would have swore by accident. Like, that's a hard thing to
I've
do.
had moments where I felt like I got through a lot of my swears in the song, and there'll be like that one in the semi-end where I'm like, damn, I was supposed to skip that.
Like, what rhymes with truck? Oh.
And I'll catch myself. I'll be like,
Ish.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, we've had to pause our radio show a number of times. Luckily, it's
So we do that radio
live.
show where we're not allowed to swear, and like, there've been some times where I've
like,
swore and we've had to stop it. And
like, wait a minute, run that back.
Yeah, we learned that we're allowed to say bitch, ass, and damn. So that's all allowed. You
gotta have them like written down what's allowed, what's not.
No, it depends on the context.
And we can
right?
apparently talk about like titties and stuff. That's allowed.
So when you're crossing the bridge, you gotta look down like,
yeah.
Can I say that? Oh, all right, it's there. All right, word.
Word.
I was like,
we can't say fuck though.
Yeah,
Definitely
you can't say fuck
or
and you
shit.
Can't say shit.
Which is crazy that you can't say shit.
You probably can't
like
say
shit doesn't
cunt
even
either.
seem that bad of a word, you know?
You're like, we can swear here, so we're getting them all off right now.
Yeah, like
yeah, this is allowed. Someday we'll get censored probably. YouTube will just be like, no, you can't swear anymore. But
so do you have any more visuals planned for the
So that's like, yo, I love these songs so much. Like, I don't even want to like move on to something else. Like, I want to make sure like I shoot a visual for as much as this.
I love that. I love that.
I don't want to set
we need
too
more
high.
visuals.
Yeah, like I don't want to set too high. Like make up something that I'm not gonna do, but I definitely want to. Like that's something that like that's in my heart to do. Like especially like songs like "Better Person." Like I actually like was vulnerable on that record where I was actually like letting you hear like another side of me that you don't normally get to hear. So like, okay, I sacrificed that. Let me at least give the visual, like, because a lot of these songs is like I'm giving a lot of me. Like I'd never done that before. It was like, okay, if you're being you have to go all the way, not halfway. And I think this album definitely deserves more than 3 videos.
Definitely.
nice.
I see a lot of people nowadays shooting videos for every song on their album.
No, this
you
is
got the budget, you can do
like
it.
the
yeah.
Sin. I definitely want to shoot a video for that. Like I gave where I'm from. Like I definitely want to show the dark side of Lynn in the music video. Like
Yeah.
like I said,
The
better.
Sin's one of my favorite records, definitely.
Yeah. It's like that was like another one of those like, okay, take it back to like what inspired you to rap, like what made you love rap, and it showed like I wanted to at least cater to that older audience, show them like, yo, the younger guys here, y'all, we understand. Well, at least someone like me understands what you trying to hear. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm 29, but I know there's people in this world older than me that like, oh, this 90s kid understands what we trying to listen to, and So it's like I gave that a lot of that. It was like where you come from a music aspect. What type of music were you raised off of? And that was kind of what I made on this. And like, what else? Miss Every Shot. Like that's another video song that I wish that I know that I can create a dope video for. Like I think I could bring that song to life much more with a visual and give a better understanding. A lot of these records I think deserve music videos, and I think people would appreciate the records more and understand where I was trying to get at with them.
There's a lot of storytelling on this album.
Yeah, especially like I love the music video for Since You've Been There. That's the one I'm releasing next, and I think that like definitely lets people. I think people will dive more. I think people already love that song. They'll love it even more when the video comes out. So since I know that, like especially like New Beginnings, like a lot of the titles of the album like told my year before the year went. So like that was another like reason why I'm passionate about this project. It was like I almost seen how my year was going before it went, or like I told a lot of how I approached this year or how this year went for me through this album. So it was definitely something I have to keep shooting music videos for.
Absolutely, I love that.
Yeah, and I guess just to reiterate what you said about I've heard this a couple of times from a handful of different artists that the music that was being made prior to the newest thing, like right now you're talking about how this album is authentic in your purest thoughts that you can convey. Other artists have said like it's a similar thing where on this project now, like this is me, and maybe I was making things before that I thought people would like, and it's way better, like you were saying with the Rick Rubin thing. Like it is all about like I have to be feeling it. I can't hope you're feeling it.
Yeah, this was the first album I actually went off feeling like I was not getting on the beat if I didn't hear the lyrics in my head before I did it, or if I didn't hear the flow in my head before I did it. I was not touching the beat, and that was damn it. I wish I was able to put every song me and T worked on together on this project, but I understand attention span, and I understand.
Are you planning on releasing those at some point?
Yeah, like I was
Patreon exclusives.
I was just actually in the studio with T like 2 days ago, and I'm just a few days ago, and I'm like, T, we created so much music. You might have just. I might have to put out another project, like you know what I'm saying. But like,
do it.
Still put out videos for this, but I would definitely want. Cause I hate holding music, and a lot of my music are like timestamps for me. So if I created a song for, like, let's say I left here after the interview and made a song, old me would hold the song till this time next year, but I won't feel how I feel. I won't feel how I felt when by the time I release it. So that's a lot that be happening to me that I want to catch up with myself with releases. Like, okay, this is how you felt when you made this. You put it out while you still felt this way. This was the first project that I did that because me and T created this project in like 4 months. Wow. I think less than that. But I want to say 4. I think 3. Like it was just like. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. Like mastered probably longer, but like as far as like the recording aspect and
like the heavy stuff.
And like the heavy parts of the project was done in like 3 months.
Wow. That's pretty quick. I've heard people say it takes 3 months to like write a song.
Yeah. I've done that.
Sometimes.
But it was just like, I'm leaving out a part. I was going through something that I said, yo, if you don't take advantage of this right now, because I had a lot to say with what I was dealing with. And I'm like, if you don't create music, I had no intention to make an album either. But I'm like, if you don't, I knew I had 100 songs in me with this one feeling. I'm like, you're not going to be able to tell this one feeling with one song. So before I made the music, I'm like, you feel this type of way, you're probably going to feel like this for a little bit. But each step of the way of this feeling, you have to make a song for it. And that's what I did. And then by the time I created I didn't have the title first. I was actually making the vlog, and the vlog was called Where I'm From. Okay. When I finished the album, I'm like, what am I going to call this? And I'm like, well, what's the root of these songs? Oh, it's about you. Oh, okay. I'll call this album Where I'm From. You've been riding this Where I'm From thing for a few years now. I think it's time for you to make something even more out of it than a single or a vlog. Okay, here's an album.
I love it.
Love that stuff, yeah.
It's a huge backstory on it. It's dope. I love the story. Whatever. I love my backstory. Period. It's beautiful. A lot of people got to really watch. Like people that have been paying attention got to really watch the growth in that. And I don't realize it until people start bringing up like old things that I've done that I forgot about. Like someone may mention a song that I made when I was in high school, and they're like, "Yeah, I remember when you made this song." And I'm like, "Wow, came a long way."
That's crazy.
It is good to see the growth. This is a funny dude. There's going to be a super cut of me saying this.
What?
There's a line by a group I like called the Palmer Squares. They're from Chicago, and he says one of the bars is tell an egghead to beat a yolk, leave the old videos up so they can see the growth. And I thought that was a sick bar because I was like, yeah, a lot of people get rid of their old stuff. Like
I did that mistakenly growing up. I think I had like only it wasn't a lot.
What's the oldest video on your YouTube channel?
On my YouTube, it's me and my niggas. It's I did that like controversial song too. I liked how I did that, but it's I think I did that in like 2012.
Oh wow!
But my
that's a while ago.
my first actual music videos might have been like 2010, but they look like homemade videos, so I removed them.
That's fair. Yeah.
You might be able to find them somehow, some way on the internet. People be pulling them up on me and sending them to me.
Oh, but, you have seen clips?
Oh, yeah. There's a video, Nova King with Fats. That's actually, like, technically one of my... there's an artist from Lynn, another artist from Lynn.
Well, wait, Fats, like, is it F-A-T-Z?
Yes.
Is it Big Picture Fats?
Big Picture Fats. Me and Fats started.
Yo, I know Big Picture Fats. Do you know Justin Clancy?
We were just talking about. I just brought up Clancy earlier.
All right,
did,
so that's
keep up. No, I'm just kidding.
bad.
I'm probably behind.
So, yeah, I know Fats through Justin Clancy.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I used to rap with both of them pretty much. Like we all recorded in the same studio, early stages. Me, Clancy, Fats. Yeah, they're cool people. Yeah.
They are good people.
But yeah, like one of my first music videos was with Fats. It's Nova King, somewhere on the internet, somewhere that I probably won't ever post it. But
it's not on YouTube.
It is. I think it's on YouTube on someone else's channel.
We'll pull it up. We'll find
big bucks if you can find it. It's big bucks.
But yeah, like that type of stuff I removed off my channel. I kind of regret it. It was like now I'm looking at a lot of the stuff that even my homie Jake Faye has a lot of like my old like Middle East videos from my first performances. I'm like, damn, I wish I had those things, but luckily you got to upload them because I would have never did it in those times. But yeah, like keeping that old footage is important because I think I seen a G-Eazy interview recently where he was like, we're in an era where our practice stages are documented, and that was something that resonated with me very well, and I think that was what made me regret taking down any of my old stuff. I'm like, damn. We are in this state, and I take pride in what I do. Like the reason I rap the way I rap is 10 years from now, 20 years from now. If I have a kid and I want to tell him about what I did in ages that she will end up seeing, I want them to think I was lit, or it was dope, or that they can learn something from it, or he wasn't out here bullshitting. He was actually doing something that we could either learn from or we're benefiting from something some way. But it's definitely not just rapping, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, I think rap is an outlet, but oftentimes, like we've talked about before, like the most successful rappers are doing so many other things.
Oh yeah,
too,
I definitely want to be able to get myself in the space to dabble in movies and like I want, like I just in my head rap and the merch is like the main objective, like specifically fashion too. Like I've always been into fashion. Like
so like, where can we get your merch?
Merch, livefamous.co. Very simple. I take pride in being able to say that. I couldn't do that. I'd be like, you can hit me on Instagram.
It's nice to be able to just give them a link.
Livefamous.co. I'll say that thing a million
you
times.
Stole my question, Jack. I always ask where you can get merch.
I know, my bad.
Yeah. Yo, it's a fun website though. Like you can catch up with any recent music video, any recent project I released. I put out 3 projects this year. I think that's one thing I don't champion enough. Like that was like
that's
I put
a lot
out
of projects in 1 year.
I put out 3. I definitely was like that was like a goal for me. It was like no matter like don't care about like how you promote it. Just forget about all that. Just put the product out. Like it'll do what it needs to do later. Like and that's and I gotta remind myself because I try to keep up with everyone else. It's like your process has never been what everyone else is. Your process is put the stuff out. put it out, and then it gravitates later. I've always been the later guy. I was never the right now person. It was people were telling me about. By the time someone's on Where I'm From, I might be on Where I'm From too. Like, you know what I'm saying? By the time I'm releasing Where I'm From too, you're telling me how much you want me to make an album like this one. It's like, I want you to feel like that when I put it out though.
Yeah, that happens. That definitely happens. You always see like, you know, older artists putting out music, and people are like, "Oh, make some shit like your old stuff." And they're
like I remember when I put out Seawells, and I didn't feel like, people wanted something like this.
Yeah.
Now that people got used to the Seawells project,
nobody,
and,
you know, you're never gonna satisfy. Everybody.
Nah, you're not.
You know,
but like that's the
how it
feedback I'm
goes.
getting back like a lot now. But I like that though, because it's like I'm fine with you not liking it currently. That tells me how far ahead I am. Like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Don't like it now. I just got to tell myself that you're gonna like it later. And then just keep working, build on top of right now though. Like keep giving the music videos, and this time next year you'll probably be watching.
Don't give up on yourself
no.
just because some people don't like your album.
Nah, because if that was the case, I would have gave up a long time ago. When people were telling me why you want to be a kid from Lynn rapping, and I had the same mentality. I'm gonna just put it out, and just putting out got me
That's
here.
it.
Yeah, there's no shortage of haters, and I feel like if we let it, it's easy to let that like.
My advice to an artist is welcome haters.
Yeah,
I don't get better if I don't have any.
Haters are a good thing, actually. Like
we can go back to my first music video. I used every single comment, every bad comment I got, I used to build the next thing.
Yeah.
So I went from getting 100 comments on, which could be good or bad, because now I went from getting 100 comments on a music video to about 0 to 15 because I'm a perfectionist. It's like, okay, now you went from saying this was wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I went and fixed all that. Then it's like, okay, now you're getting the 15 comments, the 20. It's like, why you gotta be a perfectionist? But it's like, you kind of need your haters if you want to be great at what you do. Like, there isn't not everything's bad in what they say. You got to find the you might be like, oh, there may be some truth in this. You find the truth in it.
As long as you don't
found
dwell
the gold
on the
mine.
negativity, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
March through.
But every big artist has haters.
Right.
And that's the thing too. It's like, okay, it bothers you at a small scale. What are you going to be, that rapper that gets the deal that goes through the million comments on your Instagram or the music video, and now you just ruined your whole day? Nah.
You're going to ignore that shit.
Exactly.
You're going to be happy that you got a million comments.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
I think, there's definitely famous people out there. I wonder if that's going to become like a documented syndrome later of like reading through the comments of, like, your own stuff.
It's a bad idea. I think when you get to that level of fame and you get a lot of comments coming in, you can't read that shit.
It's
can't.
Yeah, got
My early stages of getting a lot of like let's say let's use the G Herbo feature. Like that was a video that I actually got a lot of comments.
Let's talk about that. Actually,
all right.
I want to talk about that.
How'd
that come about?
Mutual friend, like a mutual friend of mine actually was a friend of his, and I remember like he was telling me one day, and I was joking like, well, tell him I got a song for him.
What year was this?
2015. And coming from Lynn, this is actually
this
unrealistic.
is like the beginning of his come up.
Yeah, like, and even just like a Lynn artist doing a feature like that was just unrealistic. So it was a joke to me at first. I'm like, no, tell him I want to do a song. And he actually told him, and he was actually doing it. I'm like, he's like, send me the song, and I sent him the song, and then it turned into what it turned into.
That's crazy. Wow.
We actually went to Chicago for that one too.
Sometimes you just got to shoot your shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do. And miss every shot.
Yeah, exactly. What's the name of the song? Miss Every Shot.
Me making that song was for either moments like that or the moments that I missed that may have been similar. Right, yeah. Like, it's like you miss
100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. That's what I'm shooting every time from here on out.
Wayne Gretzky, actually.
I know. That's the joke from The Office.
But that's why I say I'm going out shooting. Like I'm going out shooting from here on out. Like I can't not shoot, because now if I'm not shooting, I'm missing.
Yeah.
So that's how we're going about it.
I love it.
Do you have any songs? I know you said that you don't like to hold on to songs because like.
Oh, I'm currently holding music. If that's what you're asking me, yes, I am.
So I was gonna say, are there any songs that you exclusively perform live?
Do I? I like that question. I've done it. Like this whole anything that I performed from this album, I was performing it before it came out. So that was kind of like
Okay.
the beginning of this year. So like I told you, like it was all fast.
that.
Like me and T finished the album first 3 months, like 3 months. What that was like October, November, December. Yeah, come January, the album was done. From anywhere from January on, I did a bunch of shows. I didn't want to perform any old stuff anymore because I was in this space of where this album took me, and I was taking the instrumental to these songs, and I was having them as part of a set. And I was actually, and the thing that I liked about doing that is, by the time it came down to performing it after it was released, or when people know it was like I was already good at performing them. I can perform this whole album front to back, no vocals, no problem. And when I did that, I'm like, oh, you actually not only know this album front to back, you can actually perform it front to back.
Yeah. That's funny. I wonder
The Sin is probably my favorite song to perform. I didn't know that I can do that song live. When I did it, I was highly impressed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did it rolling the dice. Like I performed the song expecting to fuck up, and I didn't.
So you had your album release show. When was that?
The release show was, Brandon, do you remember the date of that? No,
It was in November.
was it? Wait, November? August? It was in
We're only in October.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, we're in October. I know I did the release party in I believe. Oh no, the show was the 18th, August 18th, I believe. And yeah, like that was a dope moment, bro. Pimp Daddy Dane out, Mace
Pimp Daddy Dane. So I honestly, to be honest, I had not heard of Pimp Daddy Dane until I saw your flyer.
Okay.
And then I looked her up, and she just dropped a project recently.
Right. Yeah. So like how I
She's
actually
fucking dope.
Yeah, she is. So like I was aware of her music. Like I'm usually aware. Like I can't function without knowing what's pumping out of any city in Massachusetts because that's how I create. Like we're all competition, so I'm aware of what's going on. And I was actually at Big Night Live one night. It was for Silk. I believe it was for Silk. And shout out to Real P. We was walking by each other, and she had stopped me, and she was like, "Yo," like I think she said something along the lines like, "Yo, you're one of the few artists from out here that inspired me." And just me being a Lynn kid and knowing knowing she's from the Boston area, just me being a Lynn kid and someone telling me that, and is dope. Like that was everything I fought for. I don't care who you are telling me it. It's just saying like, yo, you motivated me. That was everything I started rapping for. So like when that happened, I already knew who she was, but I was keeping my eye on what she was doing just off that one interaction. Now when it came down to doing my lineup, choosing her wasn't hard. Like it was like her, and then
awesome.
Maystar. It was, and then having Maystar part of the lineup was like everything coming full circle for me. Like there wasn't many people in my starting state when I first started out that were like around my age rapping. May was one of the guys that were rapping when I first started rapping. So that was like, it was like everything coming full circle thing for me with this album. Like it was like everything was aligning, even down to after I dropped my album and the festival happened. It was like, yo, this where I'm from thing is real. Like it was like the stars are aligning. Like everything is making sense. Like it wasn't like I just put out this album and then I had no right to put it out. It was like not only did I know I was supposed to put it out, the universe was showing me I was right for putting it out. Like there was no better timing for the Keep Moving Forward festival to happen right after the album came out, and then the album coming out right after I put out a billboard. Like a lot of that was, it was a dope year for me.
Absolutely.
It's only gonna get better, I imagine.
Oh yeah,
that's just the start.
I feel like I thought I was only getting old, but clearly you get better with time.
I think
fine wine.
Yeah. We've actually talked about that a good handful of times now. Like there's enough examples of people still having success like into a later age.
I think that's a pastime thinking that you had to be a certain age for success. Like that is being exceeded every day, especially.
I also think it's funny like looking back at how I acted and how I thought when I was between 18 and 22, and that's the age you expect these people to be performing and operating at the highest level, like of the entertainment industry. they're either propped up by people kind of like making that happen,
or we're just not aware of how they're feeling while they're doing these things.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
I've thought about this. Yeah.
You think it's the fucking pinnacle for them. You think that, like they're just,
yeah,
but it's not.
It's definitely a challenge for them as well because they
Yeah.
are the 21s, the 22s.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
So having so much experience, just like even 5-6 years later,
Yeah.
like, is a huge deal. Like you know so much more and how it works.
And I
you
used
do
to beat
better.
myself up about it. I'd be like, damn, you wanted this at 22 and you don't fully have it. But then I'm like,
but who does at 22?
no,
you
for
know?
sure. And I'm like, well, think about you at 22, Chris. Was you ready for that?
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Were you like, you know what I'm saying? You had a lot more
Most
growing to
people
do.
aren't. 99% of people are not ready for that kind of
And,
life.
and the day I get to cross that bridge, I would much rather have it later because I feel like I'm mature enough for it now.
Right, exactly. You're
I've
ready
went
for
through
it.
the things that I needed to go through to.
What was it? Who made the analogy
We
about
need
the
you closer to
elevator?
the mic.
The elevator.
Oh, the elevator was GIs, right?
Yes.
Um,
What did he say exactly?
wait, was it yeah, GIs.
It was
saying-
GIs.
He like some people take the elevator to the top, and when the door opens, whether you're ready or not, like you're now like on that floor.
Yeah.
But he is now like someone who kind of like didn't have that immediate success, so he took the steps the whole way.
Right.
Up. So it's like you can kind of take a break on floors, decide when
Right,
you're
which
ready,
is which is how I felt too. I feel like I'm still taking the steps. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I'm still taking the stairs. I feel like I'm that type of person. Anyways, when the elevator's taking too long, I'm going to go take the stairs.
Yes.
And I'm
Yep.
just that type of person, anyways. But I'm watching all my homies go on the elevator. That's
Mm.
that's what the analogy is for me. It's like I'm taking the stairs, but I'm watching my peers go on the elevator, and I'm still taking the stairs. I'll take a peek on the next floor. My peers are going on the elevator, but I'm not mad at it. It's just like I like how I'm growing, and this is something like you can't take from me. Like I'm laying down every brick, like you know what I'm saying, like so when the wind's blowing and I'm still standing and everybody's looking at me like, how are you doing that? I'm like, well, I had to walk every step
right.
and lay it at the same time.
I love it. I'll always love that elevator analogy. That
Yeah,
GIs
it makes
gave us.
sense. Like when just experience is underrated, I think. Sometimes, like people think there's like this magical, like a talent is like a magic. I think like when you
Yeah.
see someone who really understands music itself and can just kind of like craft a song, and you're like, wow, that really started from literally nothing.
Yep.
These
Yeah.
producers in particular, but the experience is so much like of that talent too, because it doesn't build without having all those moments of failure and like seeing, oh, this doesn't work, that's why I don't do it, and like this always works, this is why I do it. Try it different ways, learn, experiment. Like that's just kind of how it is. So yeah, experience. That's all. Bottom line. It's good. It's good to take the steps.
I mean, you can't even get a job these days. It's not even about your resume no more. Do you have the experience?
Yes.
Do you-
yeah.
It's all about experience.
How do you get a job without experience
Right.
when the job requires experience?
Experience.
Yeah.
Right.
You just got to do it
That's-
for free for a while, unfortunately.
For sure. Right. No, you're not lying.
Sucks. But all right, so future plans, you're just promoting this album.
But
right
we're
now.
keeping this where I'm from
keeping-
going. I got a
Yeah.
lot of music that I'm gonna let the world have. They can have it, but then don't be surprised if I'm still screaming this where I'm from, produced by T the Truth and the Mellows. Like, 'cause
Look,
I really take pride in this project.
promote this shit as long as you can.
Matter of fact, you
Oh,
might
yeah.
get a deluxe. How about
Okay.
that one?
I love that. I love that. Let's go.
We might have to do the deluxe. Me and T got too many songs for that.
Deluxe is cool. That I don't think everyone does that anymore.
No,
Yeah.
no, and you got a bonus track on here already,
Yeah.
right? You got a bonus track.
Yeah, might as well have to do it as part of the track list and let it not be a bonus with doing a deluxe, right?
There you go. There you go.
I
So
think I got a good. How many songs? I got a good 11 more for a deluxe for sure.
11 more.
Yeah, maybe.
All right,
Yeah, I
Wow,
think.
that's like
Damn.
a whole nother album.
gonna double the album.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
No, but this is I really enjoy listening to this album just as a rap fan because like I said, not a lot of hooks, just straight bars. Like,
Yeah.
a lot
Like,
of bars, a lot of
This hook's-
honesty.
It's a hook, but it's just very minimal.
Yeah,
it's more
exactly.
it's more of a bridge than a hook.
Yeah, right. And it's just more like you weren't recruiting, R&B singers to sing. the
Right.
hooks or anything like that.
Nah,
Like, it
I
was-
really wanted you to like feel like I was. more or less not even want you to feel like I was rapping. I wanted you to feel like I was talking to you. I wanted you to feel like
that's honestly that's how it felt to me.
Yeah.
It felt like you were talking.
Yeah, I wanted to feel like we were having a conversation that you didn't have to really respond to. You was just hearing me.
Yeah, and you had a lot of things to say.
Yeah,
you know, and you spoke your mind on it, and it's definitely one of the best albums to come out of New England in this year. I think.
I appreciate that. That's how I wanted. That's how I felt making it.
I do.
That's how I felt making it. For sure, especially from the cover art, because I knew the cover art had to be generic. I actually have that painting, like
and that's what I'm saying. All the Lynn artists are on point with the cover art.
Yo,
I don't know what it is.
That's just how I always been though.
I know. That's just you.
I forget who said it like coming up, but I just always knew like someone said to me. I forget who it was, but the cover art has to match the CD, has to match what's on the CD. Ever since I heard that, I know it was somewhere in my early.
You want your cover art to be worthy of like a poster that can go on someone's wall.
Or
you know?
if someone's never heard you before, how do you get them to listen to your music?
Right, exactly.
That's like my biggest thing was like, okay, like. And a lot of my covers been drawings of me, whether it's me as a kid or me currently. I like it's gonna grab your eye, and I've always liked the animated stuff. Like
it's gonna grab your eye, and then it's gonna grab your ear.
Exactly.
Afterwards.
So like you're gonna look at the cover and be like, oh, this is fire. Oh, let's check it out. And then when you get it, you get the same feel as when you was looking at it.
Yeah,
that's what I was shooting for.
I love it. All right. So we got your merch on, what's the website?
You can get the merch on livefamous.co.
Livefamous.co.
Or come and find me on one of these social media sites, and we can get you situated.
Wells, right? Live Famous Wells on Instagram?
Live Famous Wells on Instagram. Live Famous Wells on Twitter. You if you don't want to order on the website, you want to pull up on me, holler at me on Instagram, one of them sites. I still do it like the old days.
Love that.
Nice. Any honorable mentions? Any plugs?
As far as what?
Anyone you want to shout out? I guess.
Shout out my homie Nate for sliding out with me today. Shout out
Nate.
Shout out you guys for having me. I actually been.
Shout out you for coming, man.
I appreciate every time I see the music go up. I'm like, oh, I drop something. I see the playlist or a shout out sign. I'm like, oh, there it goes. I appreciate it.
Like we said, top 3 hip-hop cities in the state right now: Boston, Brockton, and Lynn. And when we think of Lynn, you're one of the first
Lynn,
names that comes to mind.
It got to be the first.
Boston, Lynn, Brockton.
Boston, Lynn, Brockton. What did I say?
You said Boston, Brockton, Lynn. Sorry.
Oof.
Oh, so we're putting Lynn
ahead of Brockton, yeah.
Oof. Oof. Oof.
I don't know.
I thought I said that.
I'm vouching for Lynn. I'm putting Lynn first. I'm putting Lynn first.
I don't know.
But weren't we saying Lynn ahead of everyone outside of Boston?
That's what I'm doing.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I
all right. If we're going,
I was called Where I'm From. Where I'm From is out right now.
Yeah. Lynn number 2, then Brockton.
Yeah. That's all I have to say.
No, but there's a lot of obviously Boston's the hub of New England, but there's a lot. There's like a few cities in the Boston area that are really doing their thing right now.
Lynn deserves his respect.
Lynn is definitely just like they got their own thing. They make it clear that like we're not Boston, we're Lynn. You know what I mean?
That was a thing we definitely had to like. It's aside from like stepping in and be like, we're not Boston. Boston already owns it. Well, y'all not us. Oh, all right, cool. We gonna own the we not y'all then, and we gonna rock this Lynn thing. And
so is there a rivalry going on?
Nah, but it can be.
Is there?
If that's what it's gonna take, it can be.
I mean, there's great artists from Boston, Brockton, and Lynn. If you put those 3 cities together, like
majority of them are homies. They all know it's friendly competition.
Yeah,
I'm still out to get everybody. It's Lynn Mass versus everybody.
Of course. I mean,
it's just fun though.
Yeah, you guys really do have like you are in a position to make that claim right now.
I'll take my Lynn 5 versus everybody. How about that one?
Let's go.
I'll take my Lynn 5 everywhere.
I love it.
I'd put money on it for sure.
That's what I like to hear.
I'm ready.
All right, man. We appreciate you coming. See Wells.
I appreciate you having Wells.
Let me hear Wells.
Oh, am I supposed to say?
Oh yeah,
it?
can I get a Wells?
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate you for having me.
Of course. Episode 100 something. We're out.
Oh yeah, we're not counting.